What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we're down here to talk about Quavo and Saweetie in an altercation in an elevator. Footage, we don't know how old it is, but they were in an altercation. I don't, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I'm not, flabbergasted. Nothing surprises me when it comes to how men and women relate to each other in relationships. Nothing is a shocker to me anymore. We don't know how the tape, the footage is. Some people say it's over a year old. If it is over a year old and she didn't say anything about it, that's really sad. It's really sad how black women, so many, I've done it before, protect men who have just abused them because you're afraid of what's going to happen to them on the other side of the law. I say call the cops. Call the cops and let the cops do whatever the hell they want to do to them because they just did whatever the hell they wanted to do to you. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, and I'll die on that hill. So I'm gonna look at the videotape, the footage, and I just want to talk about it as we go, and whatever comes to mind as I talk about this, we'll just go off of that. All right, so I recorded it so I can run it in slow motion because I want to talk about this because one thing, a lot of people are putting their 2 cents in on this situation without any knowledge of what happened prior, what happened after, and what was said because there's no audio. So a lot of what we're doing is going by our experiences, the truths that we have accepted, and the observations that we've had of other people in similar situations. So that's really all we have to go by. And this footage, which is like a minute, less than a minute, right? Someone asked, why are there always altercations in elevators? What? Well, because a lot of people, because they're so inconspicuously placed, a lot of people forget that elevators are surveyed, and there always some type of surveillance happening in an elevator for protection, for people's protection. We've seen so many. Solange, Ray, what's his name? Ray Rice, is that his name? We've seen a lot of altercations in elevators. I think people just forget that there are cameras there because they're not really noticeable. They put them in the corner and kind of put something over them, so people forget. However, we saw Quavo look into the camera, so I'm sure he had an awareness of what he was doing. And what's really, for me, what's really telling is the fact that after you demonstrate aggression with this woman and you pull her and sling her, she's on the ground in this kind of going like this from you because you see barely the top of her head, which looked like she's rocking back and forth. And we know that that's usually an indication of either she's been triggered, or it's like I'm trying to soothe myself, trying to calm down. People start rocking back and forth. That's what I did notice just off top. But he does look in the camera at one point. But after you grab her and sling her around and she hits the back of the elevator and she's still trying to tussle with you and then she's on the floor, there's no gesture of concern. There's no gesture of protection. There's no gesture to see if she's okay. Nothing. Also, he does not even assist her in getting up. So you've gotten into this altercation. She's on the ground and you don't even help her up. Those are the first things that come to my mind when I am looking at this, right? So let's look at the video. And I'm just going to run it slow. I'm not going to play the video. I don't want to trigger anyone. There are, that we say 40% of women, black women, are in domestic violence situations in their lifetime, and more than 40% experience psychological abuse in their lifetime. A lot of people don't really take into consideration abuse that does not leave visible scars or visible wounds. They kind of dismiss that, right? But we know that we live in an era where we are now recognizing and speaking loudly about narcissistic behavior, and that comes with mind manipulation. So when we talk about psychological abuse, that would fall into that. So from what I see from the beginning of the video, I actually started it over. Okay, so we see like an orange box luggage type case in the doorway of the elevator. We see her swing like this, and he's holding a bag as he backs up. She reaches in with her right arm to grab the package or the bag, and she tries to get out of the elevator, or she's leaving. I don't know if she's trying to get out, but she's moving out of the elevator. And then he grabs her arm, her left arm, with both of his hands. He has both of his hands on the lower part of her arm and like the back of her piece of clothing right here. And he swings her. Now they're both backing into the elevator, and he swings her around. She still is holding on to this orange luggage, and she hits the back of the elevator. Now they're both inside of the elevator. He's pushing her back with his right side, and she's pushing this way with her left side, and she falls down on the ground. She lets go of the bag. He grabs both of the bags, and he stands up and presses the button on the elevator. She's rocking back and forth. He's looking around. He's doing his hands like this. Of course, we can't hear what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying to her. Then he kind of backs up and looks up at the camera. Yeah, you on camera, bruh. Then the elevator door opens, and there is someone, we can't tell if it's a man or a woman, with a blue shirt on, denim pants, with their left hand in their pocket. Quavius tries to grab the bags as if to make room. This looks like a gesture to make room for this person. He doesn't even gesture to help her up at this time. I think men are fully aware of when they're in an altercation with a woman. More than likely, no one is going to interrupt or intervene. He doesn't even try to pick her up. Like, you would think that somebody's standing outside of the elevator. You're in the elevator, just finished an altercation. You don't even gesture in, like, even to perform, right? To pick her up, like, get up, like, okay, get up, because this person is trying to come on the elevator. He's grabbing the bags, looking like he's trying to make room for this person, and the elevator door closes. He presses the button again. She's still sitting on the floor, and she's rocking again back and forth. He grabs both of the bags in each of his hand. The elevator door opens. He walks out and places the orange bag in the doorway, I guess to keep the door open. I don't know what he's saying to her. She grabs the rail in the back of the elevator, and she lifts herself up, and she kind of walks like something is hurt on her. I don't know, like she's like kind of not walking regular. And then she picks something up outside of the elevator, and then it ends. So many people have stuff to say about this. It's really sad what people are saying. Let me see. Seeing y'all think being flung by your man is normal is concerning. Someone else said, niggas and elevators don't mix. Actually, niggas and women don't, is what I responded to him. Another person says, why women gotta be knocked out cold for y'all to consider it abuse? Another person says, I'm glad like Megan, Saweetie chose herself, but I hate the burden black women carry in not being inherently able to name their abusers because of all the consequences for all parties involved. Then someone came after and said, loving black men but wanting to hold them accountable for their actions can be tough. And I stated, holding someone accountable is an act of love and desire to see the person be better. Black men are coddled too much and operate from a victim template, so any encouragement to be better, they resist. Resistant to greatness. Imagine that. Another person says black men aren't lovable towards black women, so with the emoji like this. Just the other day, Saweetie was on the internet bragging about her relationship with this man and how if he's not buying you Birkin bags, I guess if he's not buying you Birkin bags and beating you up in an elevator, he didn't beat her up. Sorry, I got triggered. He didn't beat her up. But the thing is, that act of aggression towards you, and not even, here it is. I could even see if you get into an argument, somebody grabs something of yours and you grab it back and they swing you and you hit something like, I'm sorry, I did not mean to do that. Or even a gesture to pick you up or nothing. It's like full on, I'm going to inflict violence. I'm going to treat you in a way and throw you around, but I'm not even going to see if you're okay. And then there's so many people, he didn't do that much. He doesn't have to do that much. What would you say if you were in public and a man gestured towards a woman and she went like that? Right? I was watching Tina Turner's documentary, and she said that, don't mind the pink, my hand, I was in chalk. I had chalk on my hands today. If you see my hands, notice my fingernails are pink. There was a clip they were showing of Ike, and she said that, he really got bad with the drugs at some point, and when he walked over to her, you see Tina Turner, like, she moved like that, because she is already responding to the abuse and responding to someone about to hit her or being abused. I don't know. What would you think if you saw a woman in public react like that to a man? So he don't have to do anything, but you could tell that something's not right. So many people excusing this. He didn't do that much to her. This is not abuse. It's really sad. It says, somebody named the City of Jewels, she said, maybe if the bar of physical domestic abuse wasn't set in striking/punching, we'd be able to recognize tussling, shoving, throwing objects, smashing things, punching walls, hovering, etc. as physical abuse too. That's what someone said. The way this type of domestic violence is normalized in so many young black relationships, and to know that the cycle is just going to continue to their kids like their parents continued with them. I see a lot of people online talking about you just need a little bit of toxicity in your relationship. No, you don't. We have to get away from that. Anytime someone directs their aggression towards you, that's not a good space to be in. Like I said, we know that people get into arguments and get into fights or verbal, and you could be verbally abused too, emotionally abused. And people think that when somebody is physically violent or intimidating you, standing over you while you're on the floor rocking back and forth, not even trying to lift you up, there was no gesture, none at all, to even pick her up, hold his hand out to lift her up or anything. So much of this is normalized, and it's really, really sad. It's really, really sad. And what's even more sad is that women will get online and say, he didn't do nothing to her. I mean, what y'all, that's ain't nothing. I mean, that's nothing. All he did was sling her around. All he did was sling her around, and anything could have happened. She could have hit her head on that bar and knocked out, like what happened with Ray Rice. He knocked that woman out. I don't know. Again, I'm not surprised someone says, I'm not surprised y'all are trying to flip this on Saweetie. Y'all did the same thing with Meg. It really is sad. Men are insulting me in my mentions to prove that vid is not abuse. Do you see yourselves proving my point? I had to cuss this man out earlier who actually said he did something gently to her. Hold on, let me find it. This is crazy. And I said, what's even more wrong is no man is going to come out to defend her. And then you wonder why women in your community are masculine. We're busy fighting you guys off. It's very sad. So many men, their demonstration of love is a transaction. They're only going to demonstrate love if they're getting something in return from you. And when you stop being a mattress and a mule for these niggas and they can't siphon your energy from you anymore, they just go to the next person. They go to the next person, and she's waiting right there and will not read a Yelp review at all. I'm sure if Saweetie read the Yelp reviews, she'd be like, I don't care, honey. I just want my own experience. I know that's right. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. And again, just last year, she was telling everybody that he taught her how to love and all of this stuff like this. And people were saying that they were goals. You cannot look at someone's outward expression that they put on the internet and call it goals. You don't know what's happening in these people's lives. You don't know what's happening in these people's lives. It's not shocking. It's not, I'm not surprised. Let me find this tweet this guy was saying. Hold on. Someone said, I would say it's over for Quavo, but I forget that people love abusers. They do. I said, in a patriarchal society, the woman will always be wrong for any violence she endures at the hand of a man. It's always going to be her fault. They're always going to figure out a way to make it her fault. I'm trying to find this man. Oh, here we go. I said, I'm going to sit and observe how many black men and black women justify this. Hopefully, Saweetie has people around her who will support her. Quavo looked up at that camera and knew it was a wrap for him. These men are dangerous. This man comes to me and said, did you skip the first second where she is hitting him, or only talk about what fits your narrative? This is a man. I said, did you see she was hitting him so he could let go? Don't come over here with this foolishness. I guess she's supposed to let him tug and pull at her. If you put your motherfucking hands on me, trust and believe, I'm going to put my motherfucking hands on you. You might whoop my ass, but motherfucker, I'm not. We are going to be fighting. All this, these men can beat these women and put their hands on them. The woman is not supposed to fight back. Your natural reaction should be to survive. He says, all you can see from this video is her putting hands on him while he was very gentle and trying to get that bag back, that we don't know what's in or what the situation is about that. Someone came back and said, Jay the artist down on Twitter, shout out to her. She says, very gentle. Are you smoking? What are you smoking, dick or crack? Because that nigga Quavo flung Saweetie like she was a sheet across the bed. It's very clear that main point here is the bag. These men are a trip. They really are. And I said, these niggas see Quavo swinging this woman into an elevator and call it very gentle. I hope and pray all of your babies are aborted so that your legacy can end with you. And that's all I got to say. Anyone who is condoning this, be mindful. Watch people. Watch the men that you're interested in. Watch how they respond to stuff like this. Okay? If you see some guy, post this and see what men say about this. See what women say about this. Because women uphold toxic masculinity too. Women who are male identified will be like, girl, that ain't nothing. That little swing ain't nothing, girl. That's not nothing. Nothing you should be putting up with. Anyways, I'm out. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Peace.